So we call it church, right?
Yeah.
And we come to find out how we've been whoring ourselves out and how we do this and do that and whatever. But the truth is we come here because we're real. And we come here because we're in touch with God, we're in touch with ourselves, and we're all on a path of getting to know God better, getting to know ourselves better, increasing this life experience to be more of what we want it to be. And where God is on the end of the teeter-totter of more of what we want it to be, we're walking in that direction, and we're not alone, we're walking in this direction together. And so when we look at Valentine's Day coming up, you know, how many people traditionally think of Valentine's Day as the couple's day? Right? Because that's what we've been geared to think of it as. This is the romance day, this is the couple's day. And when it's viewed under that magnifying glass, under that set of glasses, I used to view it that way, and I used to nickname it Cupid Has Bad Aim Day. Because it seemed like whoever was standing next to me got shot with the arrow. And I thought the little guy was drunk. I thought that he had me just zeroed in and went and shot Mark instead. Whoever was sitting next to me seemed to fall in love, always had the happy, always had the relationship, always had the something, and there was Scott, continual dating. And so when it came to Valentine's Day, when that time of year came around, I would look at it as a way of reflecting on my life in a negative way. Because I didn't have what was going on in the commercials. I didn't have somebody to give the flowers and the candy to, somebody to be romantic with, and so I thought I had messed up somehow. And when I was in a relationship, relationships always have ups and downs and goods and bads and all those things, and if I did happen to be in a relationship and that magic day of Valentine's Day rolled around, but we happened to be on a down cycle, well, that sucked too. Because now I had somebody who I cared about, but I didn't much feel like loving them. I didn't much feel like being romantic that day, but it was expected. I needed to make reservations, I needed to bring candy and flowers, I needed to do these things because the people in the commercial looked really happy, and I wanted to be happy. As time has gone on, and the things that we talk about here every week, where God says, I am love. Everybody heard that? Right? Okay. So if God says, I am love, and what else does God say? I am in all things. I'm in all things. I am love, and I'm in all things. So now we look at a day, Valentine's Day, that's designed to celebrate love. And we take it out of just the shoehole of just romantic love. And we begin to look at our lives and say, wait a second, what do I love? Maybe you have a significant other that you love. Rock on. I do. Maybe you have a baby you love. Guilty. But there is so much more love than that. And so many different types of love. And Tony Robbins went into 4 different levels of love, and I think that we could all relate to different parts of what he had to say at different times in our lives, or at different times of our day. And we all have unique relationships with not just the folks in this room, but all the people we have to deal with. Look at your employer if you work in. Which level? 1, 2, 3, 4 are you at? Well, most of us don't go to work, we don't get paid. So there's a conditional love in there somewhere, and that's not to say it's bad, that's what we agreed upon. You don't expect me to just show up and work for nothing, and I don't expect you to just give me money if I don't show up to work. We've got an agreement. And so it's not to say that any of those levels are bad, it's that they all have their place. Now, as we understand that there are love on many different levels, and we love different things in different ways, it begins to give us a glimpse of how incredible God is, that God is love, and that love is in all things. Let's just do this real quick. What do we love? There's 100 different things. What do we love? Just shout it out. What do you love?
You.
Me. Okay. I love me too. Rock on. No, I love you too. I love Papa too. What else?
Grandkids.
Pancakes. I love coffee.
Grandkids.
Grandkids.
Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper.
My cat.
Your cat.
Your cat.
What else? Warmth.
My family.
Family.
My dog.
Dog.
Sunshine.
Sunshine.
Oh, yeah.
Nice pool.
Pool. I love my life. I love God. I love rocks. I love fish. I love you. 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 I love me.
And your
I love the 2 in the other room. I love the puppy in there. I love my house. I love Florida. I love Merritt Island. I love America. I love planet Earth. I love coffee in the morning. I love that I can hit a button and decide how hot or cold my house is. I love that when the sun goes down, I don't have to. I can hit a button and lights come on magically. I love that there's a special little cabinet in my kitchen that when we put dishes in it, they come out clean like magic. I love that when I'm hungry, I can go anywhere within 2 blocks, have 100 different types of food, or have something cooked in my kitchen inside of minutes. I love that. Think of the course of human history where that would have been seen as wizardry.
It's because it is.
I love the fact that I can go to the store and pick up any type of food that I want to eat and eat it. I love the fact that I have more than one pair of shoes. I love the fact that I am able to walk because I wasn't born able to do so. I love the fact that when we pour out our heart to somebody, we can offer them guidance in a moment that they really, really needed it. We can give someone a hug in a moment that they really, really needed it. And when we do, when we connect with that other person, or even when I connect with that coffee cup, there is love there. There is love there. Now when we think about God being in all things, from all the things that we talked about, God is in your cat, God is in a pool table, God is in the experience of playing pool, God is in me, God is in you, God is in grandbabies, God is in sunshine, God is in all of the things that we talked about. And the way that we feel, the love we feel for each of these things is very unique and very different. And we begin to look at them as separate. That sunshine is different than grandbabies, is different than coffee, is different than kitties. And they're different expressions of the same love. And the way that we feel about them, the way that we connect with them. When we choose to take a pause moment in our life and look at the things in our lives that we really, really love. And rather than taking them for granted, I don't always, every time I turn on a light switch, sit and go, wow, isn't that cool? When it is 95 degrees outside with 100% humidity, and I can walk over to a little button on the wall and hit it, and it's a cool 75 and 0 humidity inside my house, I don't often sit and think, thank goodness for the man or the woman, the person who invented air conditioning, and thank the Lord for the people who manufactured this air conditioning unit, and bless the hands of the person who installed it so that my baby doesn't have to cry because she's sweaty and she's overheating. I just have to poke a button on a wall. But when we do, when we talk, when we stop and we think about the things that we love and all the hands that went into making that a reality, all of the dreams that came to fruition that led to that thing, we're able to understand love in a different way. And as we do, as we understand 82 shades of love, we're able to understand 82 shades of God. Think about all the titles you have. Somebody calls you mother, somebody calls you father, somebody calls you doctor, somebody calls you retired, somebody calls you business owner, somebody calls you aunt, someone calls you uncle, someone calls you grandma, grandpa, or neighbor, or friend, or church member, or choir member, or bingo player, or all of the things that we go, where everybody knows just a sliver of us. They know just a sliver. Folks, are the only time they know me is Sunday morning. They only get to see this side of me. They only get to see this from their own perspective. People who come to you at work, and you've got a job to do, and you've got a title, and I've got my job, and I'm your client, and you're going to help me, and I can see only this little sliver of you. I don't get to see necessarily the sliver of you that's at church, or that's singing, or that's playing with your cat, or that's taking care of your folks, or that's doing all the amazing things in your life. I get to know only this sliver. And so when we look at our relationship with God, that we all want more of because we want to be happy, and we want to feel connected, we want to feel purposeful, and we want to feel that God presence expand inside us. If we say, but God, I only am going to know you, I only going to know you through church, or I only know you through this book, or this book, or this book, or this teaching, or this teaching, or this teaching, we get to know just a sliver of God. And so when we see that God is in all things, that when we pet that cat, when we pet that dog, when we feed that fish, when we hold that grandbaby, we can feel that love if we take time to feel it. That love is no different than the love we feel for each other. We can come to church and not connect. We can go to work and not connect. We can go on Facebook and not connect. We can do 1,000 things and not connect. I can live 24/7 in this house with my wife and not connect. I can be off in my own little world doing what's important to me because it's important to me, and completely take her for granted, even though she lives right here. It's the same thing with God who lives inside us. We can choose to connect with that love on a daily or repeated throughout the day basis and really cherish that relationship and seek for ways to expand that relationship, to expand that understanding, to make that piece of God that's in me and that piece of God that's in all things a real part of me, or I can just take it for granted. We do the same thing. We can do the same thing inside of our friendships, inside of our relationships, inside of how we express ourselves while having a cup of coffee, or petting a pet, or hugging your grandbaby. Because God is in all things. And we've got all these different ways of loving and all these different feelings of loving. That when this material life isn't here anymore, at some point, not a person in this room, I believe, is going to live forever. At some point, we're going to step out of this vehicle the same way that I stepped out of my car. We're going to go home. And when we go home and we see, feel, experience God, this energy of immense love. Go to a near-death convention, which is where somebody has been clinically dead for X amount of time and they've experienced the other side and came back. Talk to a psychic, a medium, or somebody who has seen the other side and come back. Talk to anybody who's intuitive. Talk to anybody who's listened to Mary's meditations and gone inside and gone to this place where we begin to get a glimpse and a feel of what that God energy is. When that time happens, when this body is no longer, it's not so much a good, bad, right, wrong, I did, I didn't do, but it's looking at this thing going, wow. Wow, I got to know this little bit of you through coffee. My cat taught me this part of you, my dog, my fish, my baby, my wife, my husband, my mom, my dad, my partner, my neighbor, the way I treated my postman, the way I saw that stranger on the street who needed something and I gave it to him in that moment because I just wanted to. And when I did, I felt that piece of God inside of them and that piece of God inside of me light up, resonate, and connect. Anybody remember the day that your parents became human? At some point, our parents, when we were kids, our parents were super people. They could put on capes, they could fly around the room, they knew all answers, they could do no wrong. They were dun dun dun. And we knew them in this way. And at some point along our journey, we went, wow, that's a human being in there.
I'm a teenager.
Doing the best they can. Maybe we like it, maybe we didn't, maybe we judge it, maybe we don't. But at some point we begin to see them in a different way. We begin to relate to them in a different way. We begin to see the judgment of their life and their experience in a completely different way. When we realize that they're not superhuman, that they're human. For some folks in the room, maybe the day that your kids realized that you were human. And how that shifted the dynamic. Anybody who's ever had a friend who was whatever capacity, a heating and air conditioning guy. I knew you just as that, and you came and you fixed my thing, and we did blah, blah, blah. And at some point there was a connection, and we started to talk, and all of a sudden you're human. And I know you in a completely different way. We're just at a convention this weekend, and folks that are doctors and all these things, and blah, 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 that they're just human. They're just human. Take off the white coat, and it's just a human. Take off the name badge, it's just a human. When we begin to see things in different ways and take the time to just push pause and really enjoy. We live in Florida. It is sunny, pretty, nice, and warm about 90% of the year. We live on an island. And the times that we decide to take a moment and take a walk around the neighborhood or go to the beach or just stand out in the yard and feel the sunshine and actually feel it, instead of just, it's something that lands on me on my way to the car, or it's something that lands on me while I'm doing this or that. We take the time to really feel that love. There's God in that moment. We take the time to really connect with each other. There's God in that moment. And we feel it inside. We're wired that way. when we're letting our God face show, because our love is connecting with something else that we love in a profound way, we feel it inside. We feel ourselves glowing. And it has nothing to do with anything other than a choice. I can have that cup of coffee. How many people have ever had this experience? Normally, absence makes the heart grow fonder. So if you're a big coffee drinker and you haven't had coffee for 3-4 days, and then you have that cup of coffee, oh, that's so good. Or you go to your favorite restaurant that you only go to once a year or once on special occasions, you take that mouthful of food, you go, oh, that's all that. I love that food. If you were to push pause and look around at your life, at the things that you love, do the things in your life know how you feel? Do they know that you love them? Do they know that they've got that spark of God and you've got that spark of God? When there's a connection, it's precious. It's amazing. I can get to know the totality of God differently with each one in this room, with everyone who's ever been in this room, to everyone that's ever been in my life. So can you. And when we connect with love, when we connect with God, when we connect with that love in me, connecting with that love of that person, place, thing, experience, whatever it is, I have to believe that God is smiling somewhere. Because I know when I connect with my wife, that smile she has, God's there. When I connect with my daughter, when I connect with each of you, when I connect with hundreds of other people who aren't even in this room, and I feel it, and they feel it, it's magical. And we've all had that experience. We've all had that experience. And on the other side of the teeter-totter is this world. And this world says, it's all about me, I am a singular item, and I need to stay so busy that I cannot connect with other people. I need to run from A to C to B to B. I've got all these pressures of things that I have to do in order to maintain the life that I have that I don't like. How many of us? Come on, I'm not the only one. And during those moments that we say, not today. Today, I'm going to love. When I look at Valentine's Day coming up, I don't just see the hearts and the flowers and the chocolates. I don't just see a romantic love and a celebration of that romantic love. I see a celebration of all love. So I invite you this Thursday, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, this Thursday, Valentine's Day, and every day between now and then, there are some folks who create a gratitude journal where they write down the things they're thankful for every day, and I love those. But just for this week, just for the next few days till Thursday, keep a love journal. Everything that you love during the course of your day that you came in contact with, just jot it down. I'm sure there's an app for that. And if not, there's this goofy old-fashioned thing that's like a little pad of paper and a pen that we just stick in our back pocket or our purse. And everything that's, dude, I love that. They say the average human being has 70,000 thoughts a day. That's what science tells us. 70,000 thoughts a day. How many of them are love? And how many of them do we even notice? For myself, I may have 70,000 thoughts a day according to science. I bet I remember, I don't know, half dozen of them. A dozen of them maybe. If I really plug my brain, I could probably start scripting out 100 different thoughts I had. I want to sit on this couch instead of that couch because I want to watch this show or that show because I want to have this for lunch or dinner, or I'm thirsty, I think I might have some coffee, or, I can think of all these different thoughts when we start to break it down, but how many of them are love? It's not just what we do, it's why we do it. And the why we do it, if love is at the end of that, we know we're in the right place and in the right direction. And if love is not at the end of that, I ask you to push pause and say, if my compass is pointing this way, but I'm walking this way, it's probably not leading me in the direction that I want to go, because my compass is pointing this way. My compass is pointing to where God is in each of these things. So I ask you this week to keep a love journal and to pay attention to your internal compass. Celebrate God. Celebrate that relationship that you have with God. And all of the many things that we can find wonder in. That we can find awe in, joy in. All words that say love. Because as we have more love in our lives, we feel amazing. And when we give in to what the world says is important and we need to pay attention to, if it's in a direction different than what love is telling us, we feel torn up inside. We feel stressed out. We feel unpurposeful or incomplete. Now the world and God can point in the same direction if we ask it to. Because God is in all things, including this world, including everything in this world. So it's lining up those two compasses between where I'm being pulled and what I'm being pulled to do for God and what I'm being told or I feel I need to do for this world. And when the two are in sync, that's what Mary describes, we're in that flow, where it's just whoosh, where things seem effortless. And when we're not, we're in that, I've got this huge boulder, I'm trying to go. So Valentine's Day, a day of love, a day to celebrate love, the love you have for yourself, for your experiences, for the people, the things, the possessions, the pets, the everything that you love. Celebrate it. Celebrate it this Valentine's Day. Because you are love. You are God. And we're just connecting that part of you with every other part of you, which is God the greater. So I thank you. We'll turn the time over to Mary.
I remember when I was very disconnected from my feelings and someone said, what does love look like to you? It took me a long time to see or realize, give it a shape or something I can identify with. So we're going to start there this morning. So as you close your eyes, get in that relaxed state of mind, letting everything from the outside world just drift away. So if they were objects or colors in your mind's eye or body, just pulling them out and letting them go. Letting your whole being just go limp and loose, as if it was a wet noodle. As you become relaxed, allow love into your space, noticing what it looks like, feels like. Does it have a shape or a form, or is it just a color and an energy? To you, what is love? And when you connect with it, to let it touch your soul, what does it feel like? How does your body react? Your mind, your spirit. And as God is love, imagine God's energy there, just pouring love into you, filling you up. Full of love, allowing it to flow in until you feel so full you're not even sure if you can contain it all. Allow it to overflow, jumping, dancing, enjoying that energy, getting comfortable with it, and feeling that happiness that comes when you're in that energy of love, when it fills you up. And notice all the other things in your life that you love. That same energy in each of those things, if it's a thing, a person, or an experience. Notice all the things that you love in your life, as if they were right in front of you. Allowing them to be filled up even more, as if God was touching each one of those things, filling them up even more. And as its energy is filled up, feel yourself connect with it. Seeing this exchange of love between it and you. Him and you, she and you, this experience of you. this energy, that energy going back and forth, charging up and becoming even stronger as you allow yourself to connect with life and with experiences, with and between these things that you love. And for a moment, almost like on the dark side, seeing all the things that you may not love in your life, noticing it's just a shell on the outside like an egg. That somewhere in that egg is a piece of God, is love. And almost like going through and cracking these eggs, letting the love come out and shine. You don't have to connect with it if you don't want to, but see it. Watch as those eggs crack open, those things that you once saw is so far from love, shine just a little bit, or a lot, with love that you never saw before. For it is all part of God, it is all connected with love. Seeing your life, everything, in and around you, past, present, and future, having, possessing, and sharing a form of love with you in this life, through all lives. Allowing your awareness to be open, to see it, to feel it, and to connect with it even more than you have in the past. As if God was to remove that wall, that sight for you, to clear your sight, that you could see it and feel it, and enjoy life on a whole new level. As you allow this energy to come in, to connect with it, and to grow. And feel as it starts to grow inside of you, all on its own. You don't even have to be aware of it, but each day it gets stronger and stronger. And every once in a while, if you need that reminder, using the words I am loved, and feel it grow. I am loved. And feel it grow even stronger. Knowing that you're connected with God, and God is pouring more and more love into you each day, each moment. Allowing you to become more aware of it, feel that breath coming in, that energy flowing into you, that connection with God that you have. It's an energy right next to you, 24/7, guiding your path, showing you where those pockets of love are even stronger. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. Come back. Valentine's Day. And we all enjoy life.